Poverty is not only about having no money. It is about the way we think, the way we act, and the way we build our daily life. Many people work very hard, but they stay in the same place because of hidden habits that quietly control them. These habits look small, but together they block every chance to grow. If you don't recognize them, you will repeat the same cycle year after year. Today, I want to open your eyes to 8 powerful money traps that are silently keeping you broke. Once you understand them, you will have the power to break free and start walking toward financial freedom. People think the comfort zone is safety, but in reality, it is the most expensive place you can live. It slowly takes away your dreams, your energy, and your future. You feel secure, but the truth is, nothing grows in comfort. Success lives outside the walls you build for yourself. If you want change, you must first learn to be uncomfortable. The comfort zone feels good because it is familiar. You wake up, do the same things, meet the same people, and repeat the same cycle every day. But what you call routine is actually a prison with invisible bars. You don't even realize you are locked inside until years have passed and nothing has changed. When you choose comfort, you are also choosing limits. You may earn enough to survive, but you will never build wealth. You may feel stable today, but the world is changing faster than your habits. By staying still, you're actually moving backward because the future does not wait for anyone. Most people fear failure, so they hide inside comfort. They say, I am fine here. Why should I take risks? But I always tell them, staying in the same place is the biggest risk. If you do not try, you already fail. Fear keeps you safe for a moment, but it destroys your potential forever. Think about water in a pond. When it stops flowing, it becomes dirty and useless. Life works the same way. If you stop learning, stop moving, stop trying, you will not stay the same. You will decay. Growth only happens when you push yourself beyond what you already know. In business and in life, I saw many talented people who wasted their gifts because they loved comfort too much. They had skills, but they never improved them. They had ideas, but they never tested them. Over time, their talent meant nothing because the world only rewards action, not potential. Comfort teaches you to settle for good enough, but good enough is the enemy of greatness. If you accept just surviving, you will never achieve thriving. The richest opportunities are always hidden in challenges, not in the easy path. That is why most people never see them. They refuse to leave the sofa of comfort. When I built Alibaba, I had no comfort zone. Every day was uncertain. We had no money, no experience, and no guarantee of success. But because of that pressure, we grew fast, we became creative, and we found solutions that others could not. If I had chosen comfort, Alibaba would never exist today. The comfort zone also steals your time. You believe you have tomorrow, next week, or next year to start, but every delay becomes a habit. Before you know it, 10 years have passed, and you are still standing at the same point, asking yourself why nothing changed. Time is more expensive than money. Once it's gone, it never returns. I often meet young people who say, Jack, I want to start a business, but I am not ready yet. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect skills, the perfect amount of money, but perfection never comes. What they are really waiting for is comfort, and comfort never builds empires. The comfort zone also destroys confidence. At first, you avoid risk because you are afraid, but over time, you stop believing you can handle challenges at all. Every day you stay comfortable, your courage becomes weaker. One day, you will realize you are too scared to try anything, and that is when your dreams die. The truth is, comfort does not give peace, it gives regret. When you are young, it feels safe. But when you are older, you look back and ask, what if I had tried? What if I had taken that chance? Regret is the most painful price of comfort, and once it arrives, it cannot be undone. Breaking the comfort zone is not about being reckless. It is about choosing growth over fear. Take small steps into the unknown. Learn one new skill. Meet one new person. Start one new idea. Each step builds strength, and slowly the uncomfortable becomes your new normal. Success is not about who is the smartest or the strongest. It is about who dares to keep moving when others stop. The comfort zone is full of smart people who never used their brains, strong people who never tested their strength, and dreamers who never chased their dreams. Don't be one of them. If you want to escape poverty, escape comfort first. Comfort gives you excuses, but challenges give you growth. The world rewards those who are willing to be uncomfortable today for a better tomorrow. Remember this, comfort is free, but the price is your future. Step out, take risks, and that is where your true wealth begins. Many people lose their future because they are always chasing fast money. They want to become rich in 1 month, successful in 1 year, or famous overnight. But real success is not built like instant noodles. It takes time to cook properly. Quick wins may give you excitement today, but they destroy your foundation for tomorrow. When you chase shortcuts, you avoid learning the real skills needed for success. You focus only on the prize, not the process. But wealth is not just money. It is knowledge, discipline, and character. Without these, any money you make will slip through your hands, and you will be back to zero again. The world is full of people selling get-rich-quick dreams. They promise easy paths, but what they are really doing is taking advantage of your impatience. If wealth could be built instantly, everyone would already be rich. The fact that most people are not should tell you the truth. Real wealth comes from building, not rushing. I have seen young entrepreneurs who start a business and quit after 3 months because they don't see big profits. They want results now, but they forget that every great company in the world was once small, weak, and struggling. You cannot plant a seed today and demand fruit tomorrow. Growth has its own pace. Quick wins create greed, and greed blinds you. Instead of asking, what value can I create? You ask, how fast can I make money? That thinking will always push you towards shortcuts, scams, and unstable ventures. And when the money disappears, you are left with nothing but regret. When I started Alibaba, we had no money for years. Many times people told me to chase fast profit by copying other businesses or selling out early, but I refused because I knew real wealth is not built in days, it is built in decades. If I had chosen quick money, Alibaba would not exist today. Quick wins also make you weak. When success comes too fast, you never learn how to handle failure. Then, when the first real challenge arrives, you collapse. True wealth is built slowly because the struggle gives you the strength to protect it. If you skip the struggle, you also skip the strength. Building real wealth is like building a house. If you rush, the walls will crack and the roof will fall. But if you take time to build the foundation, the house will stand for generations. The same is true for your career, your business, and your money. Slow and steady is not boring. It is powerful. People who chase quick wins often spend their life jumping from one idea to another, never finishing anything. Today it is trading. Tomorrow it is crypto. Next week it is some new scheme. They look busy, but in reality they are running in circles. Wealth is not built by running everywhere. It is built by staying focused. Real wealth builders understand the power of patience. They invest in themselves, in their skills, and in their long-term vision. While others are looking for the next shortcut, they are quietly laying bricks one by one, and one day the same people who laughed at their slow progress are amazed by the strength of what they built. Quick wins keep you poor because they train your mind to always expect speed. But wealth takes time, and when you cannot wait, you quit. This is why patience is not just a virtue. It is a financial strategy. If you master patience, you will outlast 90% of people who give up too soon. Most people are not broke because they never had opportunities. They are broke because they wasted opportunities by chasing faster results. Every time you abandon a path halfway, you throw away the time, energy, and lessons you already invested. In the end, you build nothing because you finish nothing. The secret of the rich is not magic, it is discipline. They avoid the temptation of quick money and instead create systems, products, and investments that grow slowly but surely. They plant trees while the poor keep chasing falling leaves. Over years, the difference becomes massive. One has a forest, the other has nothing. If you want to escape poverty, stop asking, like, how fast can I succeed? Start asking, what can I consistently build for the next 10 years? Quick wins are short-term fireworks, bright but gone in seconds. Real wealth is like the sun. It rises slowly, but once it shines, it lights everything around you. Chasing fast money is the fastest way to stay poor. Don't be fooled by easy paths, because the hardest road is always the one worth walking. Build value, build patience, and build habits that last. That is how you stop chasing quick wins and start building real wealth that will stay with you forever. Today, many people believe living with debt is simply a part of life. They think it is normal to borrow for everything, a phone, a car, even clothes. But just because everyone is doing it does not make it right. Debt is not a tool for freedom. It is a chain that quietly grows heavier every month. The danger of debt is that it feels harmless in the beginning. A small loan here, a credit card swipe there, it looks easy to manage. But each debt carries interest, and interest is like a parasite. It eats while you sleep, it grows while you work, and it never gets full. Soon, you are working only to pay for the past. When debt becomes your habit, you are no longer buying with money, you are buying with your future. Every new loan is a piece of tomorrow sold today. At first, you think you are gaining, but in reality, you are losing years of freedom and opportunity. That is the real cost of normal debt. The debt spiral is dangerous because it tricks you. Society encourages you to borrow, banks reward you with credit cards, and advertisements tell you to buy now, pay later. But remember, the system makes money when you stay in debt. They want you to believe it is normal, so you never escape. Some people say, but Jack, I can manage my debt, it is under control. I always tell them, if you are paying interest every month, you are already losing. Even small interest over years will take more than you imagine. Control is not about managing debt. Real control is about avoiding debt altogether unless it builds wealth. There is good debt and bad debt. Good debt is when you borrow to invest in something that grows, like education, business, or assets. Bad debt is when you borrow to consume, buying things that lose value the moment you touch them. Sadly, most people today are drowning in bad debt, thinking it is normal life. I have met many young people who earn well but never feel rich. Why? Because every month, half of their salary goes to repay loans. They are not working for themselves. They are working for banks. This is not financial freedom. It is financial slavery. And the worst part is, they think it is ordinary. Debt also steals your peace of mind. When you owe money, you never sleep fully relaxed. You may smile during the day, but inside you feel pressure, stress, and fear. You cannot take risks, you cannot dream big, because the first thought in your head is always, how will I pay my bills? The spiral begins when you use new debt to cover old debt. You borrow from one card to pay another, or take a loan to pay off a loan. This feels like solving the problem, but it only digs the hole deeper. Eventually, you are not living life. You are running on a treadmill of endless payments. I often say, poverty is not just about lack of money. It is also about wrong habits. Debt is one of the strongest habits that keeps people poor. Instead of building savings, they build interest payments. Instead of buying freedom, they buy chains. And each chain makes it harder to move forward. The tragedy is that most people do not even see debt as a problem anymore. They joke about it, normalize it, even celebrate it. But what you laugh about today becomes what you cry about tomorrow. Normalizing debt is like normalizing sickness. The longer you ignore it, the more damage it causes. Escaping debt requires courage. It means saying no to instant pleasure. It means buying what you can afford, not what impresses others. It means learning patience, saving before spending, and respecting the value of money. These are simple rules, but very few follow them because comfort today feels easier than discipline tomorrow. Some people believe they will escape debt when they earn more money, but this is a trap. If you cannot manage money when it is small, you will not manage it when it is big. Without discipline, more income only means bigger loans and bigger problems. The problem is not your salary, it is your habits. True freedom comes when your money belongs to you, not to banks or lenders. Imagine working hard and keeping every cent for your own dreams instead of handing it away to interest. That feeling is priceless, but you will only experience it if you decide to break the cycle and live without unnecessary debt. So do not accept debt as normal. Poverty becomes permanent when you believe lies like this. Start by cutting bad debt, learning to wait, and building savings before spending. It will feel slow at first, but over time, the weight will lift and you will finally breathe freely. That is when you realize debt was never normal. Freedom is. Most people live their whole life trading time for money. They go to work, give 8 hours a day, and receive a paycheck at the end of the month. It feels secure, but this cycle has no freedom. The moment you stop working, the money stops coming. Without an exit plan, you are trapped in endless labor. Trading time for money is not bad in the beginning. Everyone must start somewhere, but the danger is staying there forever. If you spend 30 or 40 years only selling hours, you will reach old age with nothing more than a history of hard work. Work alone is not wealth. Ownership and systems are. The biggest problem with trading time for money is that time is limited. You have 24 hours no matter how smart or strong you are. If your income only grows when you work more hours, your growth is capped. True wealth comes when money works for you, not only when you work for money. Many people think a salary is safe, but in reality, it is one of the most fragile forms of income. One decision from a boss, one crisis in the company, one change in the economy, and your time is no longer valuable to them. If all your money depends on one paycheck, you are standing on thin ice. When I was younger, I worked as a teacher. I loved teaching, but I realized that no matter how much effort I gave, my income was fixed. The only way to grow was to create something bigger than myself, a business, a system, a platform. That was my exit plan from trading hours for money. Without an exit plan, your time becomes a prison. You cannot take long breaks, you cannot spend more time with family, and you cannot retire early. The clock owns you. Every morning, you must wake up and sell another piece of your life. Slowly, you realize you are not working to live, you are living to work. The sad truth is many people believe this is the only way. They think working for money is the final goal, not the first step. But look at the wealthy. They use their work to build assets, networks, and opportunities that later pay them even when they sleep. That is the real exit plan. Trading time for money also kills creativity. When your focus is survival, you do not take risks, you do not innovate, you do not explore, you cannot afford mistakes, so you stay small. But growth always requires space to fail. If all your income is tied to your hours, you never give yourself that space. Some people hope promotions will save them, but even a higher salary is still trading time for money. Yes, you may earn more, but the trap is the same. You are still exchanging life hours for income, and your freedom is still missing. The problem is not the amount, the problem is the system. The exit plan is not quitting work tomorrow. It is using your work today to build something that will pay you tomorrow. It could be investing, creating a side business, or developing skills that open bigger opportunities. The goal is to move from I must work to eat to my work builds something that feeds me later. One of the saddest things I see is people who retire with nothing. They spent decades working, but because they never created an exit plan, they leave their jobs and lose their income at the same time. Years of loyalty to a company, yet no financial independence for themselves. That is the true cost of trading time without vision. If you want freedom, you must think like a builder, not just a worker. Every hour you trade should be an investment, not just a transaction. Ask yourself, what am I building with this time? If the answer is nothing beyond today's paycheck, then you are selling your life too cheaply. Wealthy people understand leverage. They know how to make their money, skills, and people work for them. This does not happen overnight, but it starts with the mindset that time is precious. Instead of wasting time on endless hours of labor, they channel it into creating structures that multiply. Trading time for money without an exit plan is like rowing a boat without ever building a sail. You move, but you never get far. The day you build a sale, a system, an investment, a business, the wind begins to carry you and your effort finally multiplies. That is when freedom begins. Your time is your life. Spend it wisely. Working for money is necessary, but staying in that cycle forever is dangerous. Build an exit plan, something that will reward you beyond the hours you put in, because in the end, wealth is not about how hard you work. It is about how smartly you prepare for freedom. One of the most expensive mistakes people make is living for the approval of others. They buy clothes, gadgets, and cars, not because they need them, but because they want to be seen. This lifestyle looks shiny on the outside, but it empties your pocket on the inside. Chasing respect through material things is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. The truth is, people you try so hard to impress often do not even notice or care. You may spend your salary on a fancy phone, and tomorrow they will already be talking about someone else's. Attention is temporary, but debt is permanent. By the time you realize this, your money is gone, and so is their admiration. Living to impress others is a prison you build for yourself. You are not buying things for your happiness, you are buying them for their eyes. The problem is, their eyes always want more. Today they admire your new car. Tomorrow they ask why you don't own a bigger one. This game has no finish line. I've seen people with small incomes live peacefully and happily because they focus on needs, not image. At the same time, I've seen high earners live under constant stress, drowning in debt just to look rich. Wealth is not about showing, it is about having. And many who show the most actually have the least. When you live to impress, you give away your freedom. Your choices are no longer yours. They belong to the crowd you want to please. You don't buy what you need. You buy what society expects. Slowly, you lose your true self, because every decision is filtered through the question, will they be impressed? The hidden price is not just money, it is also your peace of mind. When you live for appearances, you are always anxious. You fear being judged, fear being compared, fear losing the spotlight. That anxiety follows you everywhere, and it consumes energy that could have been used for real growth. Impressing others is a poor investment. The admiration you buy today has no return tomorrow. You cannot trade people's opinions for food. You cannot exchange their applause for freedom. It is a currency with no value, yet people spend their whole life chasing it. This is why many remain broke despite working hard. When I started Alibaba, many laughed at me. They said, "Jack, you are crazy to dream so big with no money, no technology, no power." If I had lived to impress them, I would have quit. Instead, I ignored their judgment and followed my vision. Years later, the same people who mock me now respect me, not because I impressed them, but because I built something real. If you always seek validation, you will never take the right risks. You will choose what looks good, not what works. But success requires making decisions that others may not understand. Visionaries are often misunderstood in the beginning. If your goal is to impress, you will never dare to look foolish. And without that courage, you will never achieve greatness. Living to impress also keeps you poor because it creates endless consumption. Instead of building assets, you build collections of things that lose value every day. A car loses value, a phone becomes old, fashion changes, but investments grow. One path empties your pocket, the other fills it. Which one you choose decides your future. The crowd you try to impress will never pay your bills when you are in trouble. They will not rescue you from debt. They will not fund your dreams. They will not save you when you fall. So why sacrifice your money, time, and peace for people who will disappear when you need them most? I always tell young people, the world does not care about your expensive shoes or watch. What people truly value is your ability to solve problems, create value, and bring change. Respect built on contribution lasts forever, but respect bought with luxury fades as soon as someone else buys something newer. The hidden price of impressing others also includes missed opportunities. While you are busy showing off, someone else is busy learning, building, and investing. When the time comes, they will be free, and you will still be performing for an audience that has already moved on. Comparison steals not only money, but also time. True confidence comes from within. When you stop caring about approval, you free yourself to live authentically. You spend wisely, you pursue your real dreams, and you build wealth on your own terms. Ironically, the less you try to impress, the more respect you gain, because people admire authenticity more than show. So do not waste your life paying the hidden price of impressing others. Impress yourself instead by building stability, by chasing freedom, by creating value that outlasts you. People may admire you today or forget you tomorrow, but your choices will stay with you forever. Build a life worth living, not a performance worth watching. Many people stop learning after school, believing education ends with a diploma. This is the first mistake that keeps them stuck. The world is moving every day. Technology is changing every hour, and opportunities are shifting every minute. If you stop learning, you stop moving. You may feel stable, but in reality, you are falling behind. Ignoring learning is like refusing to sharpen your tools. You may work hard, but your results stay small because you are using a dull blade. Success requires not just effort, but updated skills. Hard work without knowledge is like rowing a boat with broken paddles. A lot of energy, but little progress. When people say, "I am too busy to learn," I remind them, if you are too busy to improve, you will always stay busy and poor. Learning is not a luxury, it is survival. In today's world, the uneducated person is not the one who cannot read, but the one who refuses to learn new things. The poor often blame luck for their situation, while the rich invest in learning. This is not because the rich are smarter, but because they understand knowledge multiplies opportunities. A small lesson, a new skill, or a fresh perspective can open doors that were invisible before. Without learning, those doors remain closed forever. Ignoring learning also traps you in outdated thinking. What worked 10 years ago may not work today. If you continue using old strategies in a new world, you will keep failing and wonder why. The truth is simple. The rules changed, but you didn't. That is the punishment for refusing to learn. When I started Alibaba, I knew nothing about the internet or business. But I learned. I read, I listened, I asked questions, and I made mistakes. Every lesson gave me strength to continue. If I had ignored learning, Alibaba would have died before it even began. Learning is not optional. It is the lifeline of growth. The danger of ignoring learning is not just being stuck. It is becoming replaceable. Someone younger, more skilled, and more adaptable will come and take your place. Employers, partners, and customers will not choose you because of your years of experience. They will choose the one who keeps growing. Learning does not always mean formal education. It can be reading books, practicing skills, observing others, or reflecting on your own mistakes. Life is the best teacher, but only if you are willing to be a student. Many people repeat the same errors because they never pause to ask, what did this failure teach me? People who ignore learning often complain that success is unfair. They think opportunities belong only to the lucky or the powerful, but opportunities belong to the prepared. When you learn, you prepare yourself to recognize and use chances when they come. Without preparation, opportunity looks like confusion and passes you by. Learning also protects you from fear. We fear what we do not understand. The more you learn, the more confident you become in facing challenges. Ignorance creates doubt, but knowledge builds courage. This is why those who keep learning seem brave. They are not braver, they are simply better prepared. If you ignore learning, you also ignore growth in income. The market does not pay you for the time you work. It pays you for the value you bring. And value increases only when your skills increase. If your learning stops, your earning stops. The link is direct and cannot be broken. I have met people who worked hard for decades but never improved themselves. They complain about being stuck in the same job, but they never learned anything new. Life gave them 20 years of work experience, but they repeated the same year 20 times. That is not experience, that is wasted time. Learning requires humility. Many people stay stuck because their ego blocks them. They believe they already know enough, so they close their minds. But the moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop growing. Even today, I still call myself a student because the world will never run out of lessons. If you want freedom, make learning a daily habit. Read, listen, ask questions, experiment, and reflect. Each small lesson compounds over time, like interest in a bank. Slowly, you build a treasure of knowledge that no one can take away. Money can be lost, but wisdom remains with you forever. Ignoring learning is choosing to stay stuck. Knowledge is the engine of growth, and without it, you cannot move forward. Do not fear mistakes, do not fear being a beginner, and do not fear looking foolish. Fear standing still while the world moves ahead. Keep learning, and you will never be left behind. One of the most dangerous habits I see in people is spending money before they have earned it. They believe the future will always bring more, so they borrow against tomorrow. This thinking creates a false sense of security. Instead of building wealth, they build chains of debt. Every purchase made without money in hand steals freedom from the future. When you spend before earning, you are not investing in your future. You are mortgaging it. The banks and credit companies may look like they are helping you, but they are the real winners. They profit while you sink deeper into a cycle that feels normal. It is like digging a hole and expecting to climb out by digging faster. People often spend to feel rich for a moment, but that moment costs them years of struggle. The new phone, the fancy clothes, or the latest gadget may give temporary pride, but the bill lasts much longer. Wealth is not about looking rich. It is about having control over your choices. Spending early removes that control. This habit also blinds people to the difference between needs and wants. A need keeps you alive, but a want is usually about status. Many people spend to impress others, forgetting those others are too busy with their own problems to notice. In the end, you are left with empty pockets and shallow validation. When you spend before earning, you create a mindset of entitlement. You believe you deserve rewards without doing the work first. This weakens discipline and destroys patience. Two qualities essential for success. The person who learns to delay gratification builds strength. The one who cannot wait stays weak. I have seen employees who, the moment they get a small raise, immediately increase their expenses. Instead of saving or investing, they upgrade their lifestyle. The result? They remain in the same financial position, no matter how much they earn. Their income grows, but their habits cancel out every gain. Spending before earning also prevents investment. Money that could be used to start a business, learn a skill, or build assets is wasted on temporary pleasures. This is why so many people say they have no money to invest, not because they never earned it, but because they spent it before they had it. The habit often starts small: a loan for a new phone, a little credit for clothes, a small advance for a party. But small debts grow quickly. What begins as convenience turns into a trap. Soon, interest payments consume your earnings, leaving nothing to build with. You are working, but not for yourself. Some people defend this habit by saying, "I will make more in the future," but the future is uncertain. Job loss, illness, or economic downturns can happen at any time. If your life depends on money you haven't earned yet, a single crisis can destroy you. True security comes only from living within your means. Wealthy people understand this principle. They spend after they earn, and even then they spend less than they can afford. They let money grow before they enjoy it. That is why their wealth multiplies. The poor, on the other hand, spend money they don't yet have, and so they never allow wealth to grow. Spending before earning is also a habit of impatience. It reflects a desire to skip the process and jump straight to the reward. But life does not work this way. Success is always earned in sequence. Work first, reward later. Trying to reverse that sequence only creates frustration and debt. If you continue this habit, you will always feel like you are chasing money. No matter how much you earn, it will never be enough. Your expenses will always outrun your income. This endless chase is exhausting and humiliating. But the worst part is you will never experience the peace of financial freedom. Breaking this habit requires discipline and honesty. You must ask yourself, do I really need this now, or can it wait until I have earned enough? This question separates the wise from the foolish. It is not about denying yourself forever, but about respecting the order of life. Effort first, reward second. When you train yourself to spend only after earning, you gain confidence. Each purchase feels stronger because it comes from your own effort, not borrowed money. You enjoy what you buy without guilt or fear of repayment. This is the true meaning of financial independence, the ability to live without being chained to debt. Spending before earning is a silent thief. It steals your peace, your growth, and your future. Learn to wait, learn to build, learn to let your money grow before you use it. Wealth is not built by speed, but by patience. If you master this habit, your life will change, and your money will finally serve you instead of enslaving you. Many people spend their whole lives waiting for luck, as if fortune will knock on their door one day. They say, if I get lucky, I will succeed, or when the right chance comes, I will change my life. But luck is not a strategy. Waiting makes you passive, and passive people rarely move forward. Luck may give you a start, but it cannot sustain you. Even if fortune hands you something, without preparation, you will lose it quickly. Opportunities are like seeds. They require soil, water, and care. If you are not ready to cultivate them, they will die in your hands. The habit of waiting for luck is built on excuses. People say, I can't succeed because I wasn't born rich, or I need the perfect time. This thinking is poison. Success is not about the perfect start, but about using what you have now to create momentum. Waiting only wastes the time you could spend building. I often remind people, opportunities are created, not discovered. When we started Alibaba, there was no map, no guide, and no lucky break. We created our own chance by trying, failing, and trying again. If we had waited for luck, we would still be waiting today. Luck is like the weather, unpredictable and beyond your control. You cannot build your future on something you cannot control. What you can control is your learning, your actions, and your persistence. These are the tools that create opportunities where others see nothing. When you wait for luck, you develop a victim mindset. You believe life happens to you instead of realizing you can shape it. This attitude makes you dependent on circumstances and on other people's decisions. True success comes only when you take responsibility for your own progress. Opportunities rarely arrive fully formed. They usually appear as problems, challenges, or even failures. Those who wait for luck miss them because they are looking for something easy. But those who act see difficulties as hidden doors. The harder the problem, the greater the opportunity behind it. People who wait for luck often envy others who succeed. They say, he is lucky, or she was at the right place at the right time. But what they don't see is the years of effort behind that luck. Luck is often just preparation meeting the moment of chance. Without the preparation, chance is meaningless. I always tell young people, stop waiting, start acting. Even small steps lead to new paths. Start a small business, learn a new skill, meet new people, or try new ideas. Each action creates movement, and movement brings opportunities. Opportunity is attracted to motion, not stillness. Waiting for luck also destroys time. You waste months, years, sometimes decades thinking someday my chance will come. But time does not wait. Every day spent waiting is a day lost forever. Opportunity belongs to those who act now, not those who dream of later. Some people believe luck is destiny, but destiny is built by choices. Every choice you make creates a new path. Small decisions like how you spend your mornings or who you spend time with slowly shape your opportunities. If you make better choices, you don't need luck. You create your own future. When you create opportunity, you also build resilience. You learn from failure, adapt, and try again. This resilience is more powerful than luck because it makes you unstoppable. Luck may favor you once, but resilience favors you every time life pushes you down. I have seen many talented people waste their lives waiting. They had skills, intelligence, and dreams, but no action. On the other hand, I have seen average people rise to greatness because they moved, they tried, they acted. Life rewards movement more than talent. The truth is, luck is attracted to the bold. The more risks you take, the more chances appear. The more doors you knock on, the more will open. Luck is not a magic gift. It is the result of showing up again and again until something clicks. If you wait for luck, you will wait forever. If you create opportunity, you control your future. Stop hoping for the perfect moment. Start with what you have, where you are, and take the first step. Action creates opportunities, and opportunities create success. Luck is nothing more than the reward for courage. Remember, being poor is not your destiny, but staying poor because of habits is your choice. These 8 traps are like chains. Once you see them, you can break them. Don't try to change everything in one day. Start with one small step, then another and another. Success does not come from luck, it comes from discipline. If you avoid these habits, you will not only escape poverty, you will create a life of freedom, confidence, and opportunity. The future is always in your hands, but only if you choose to act today.